Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So I'm here doing a little Pupdate for you guys. Kind of zoomed in closely to this red dude. I've had a lot of people that were confused about the color. There's people that haven't seen this before and they were thinking that he was a black and tan. And so I just wanted to go ahead and kind of show you guys what this color is up close so that we can kind of put that to rest, because thus far I have not produced a black and tan. Now, it's not impossible for me to produce that because of the fact that I actually have some American lines in my house. And, you know, American lines have been known to produce that color. There are some European lines that have produced the brindle points, and I actually have some lines off that. That's a Derium line, so I have that as well, but that's a lot less common. But the black and tan, I mean, I know there's a dog in Cashmere's pedigree that had it. So anyway, so there's always the potential, obviously, to have a throwback, but this particular breeding was a breeding that was done with a European bred dog, Achilles, and so the likelihood that I would throw something like that is very, very, very slim. So, because both parents need to have that gene. So anyway, so as you can see here, he has already started to fade out to the red. Let me see if I can get close without blocking the light. So you can see here the undercoat underneath it is the red, and then you can see the hairs are actually tipped black. So the undercoat is the red, and you can even see on his face here. Hey, psst, 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 psst. Look up, little dude. There you go. You can see that it's actually already fading over his head, and you can see it's kind of fading down. So he is not a black and tan puppy at all. You can see it's already starting to fade all the way down his body. Not a black and tan puppy at all. And but like I said, I can't blame people for thinking that, because if you've never seen that color before, I don't blame you for thinking that that's what it is, because it is deceptive like that. I remember the first time that I produced it, I contacted another breeder friend of mine, because Preacher was the father. It was, like I told you, it was Blondie's brother, actually, littermate brother. And I contacted him and was like, I thought you said that your dogs didn't have any tan points, because for that gene to come into play, both parents need to have it. It needs to be on both sides of the pedigree. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I've never produced a tan pointed dog. And I showed him the picture and he laughed and he was like, Rachel, he's like, that's a red. He goes, that will fade out. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I had never, I had bred pit bulls, but I had never produced that color. And so I was also unfamiliar with it. So I can't blame people for thinking that that's what it is. But yeah, it's not that. So yeah, he's a cutie. So a lot of people have been asking me if I know what puppy that I'm going to keep. I don't yet. There's just, it's very hard. There's 3 really nice puppies in this litter. And for females, there is this brindle female here, which I really like. There is this female here. Her mask is, honestly, if her mask wasn't so light, it would be an automatic, like, yeah, this is the one. And then there's this red female here. Now, having said that about the mask, it's not a big deal. There's plenty of breeders. As I was researching it, first of all, in the standard, I looked at the FCI standard, I looked at the ICCF standard, and I looked at the AKC standard, and I have found nothing that states how deep the mask should be, like the pigmentation of the mask. They say that they should have a mask, but it doesn't say how deep or dark the mask should be. Having said that, it's pretty much agreed upon that the mask should be dark. So anyway, but I was looking around because I had remembered some breeders that had dogs that actually had no mask. And so I found a bunch of breeders, very well-known breeders, who had dogs that they were breeding and had bred in the past that either had no mask or had a light mask. So it's not that big of a deal, basically. If a dog is a nice dog, then whether or not the dog has a mask at all, or how deep the pigmentation is on that mask, is of no consequence to most breeders that I've seen. I've seen red dogs with no mask being bred. I've seen Formentino dogs with no mask being bred. I've seen brindle dogs with no mask being bred. And so anyway, and I saw one female, really deep red, probably like what this guy's going to look like, with no mask, that was actually an AKC champion. And I did look through the standard, and there was nothing that talked about the lack of a mask being a disqualification, or pigmentation on that mask being a disqualification. So anyway, so that would not count her out. I can tell you a little bit about why I'm thinking about her. So when you look at the pictures of them stacked up, these two females are actually very nice. This one here is not, you couldn't really get as good of a picture of. She unfortunately was a little harder to stack. This female here, this fawn female here, one of the reasons I really like her is if you look at her pictures, she has a very nice sternum, and that's the chest of the dog. And we call it very good forechest and having a nice front construction. And so when you have that outward forechest like that, it really helps with that, what we call the upper arm length. And so she has a really good upper arm, which, as you guys know, I've talked about it. This breed is known for not necessarily having the best upper arms. The brindle female isn't bad, but she does look to have a slightly shorter upper arm. And I don't know how her head is going to turn out either. There's her eyes look like they might be a little bit round, whereas the other female looks probably like it's not going to be round. So those are just some things to think about. The red female, I'm not as fond of her head. I feel like her muzzle isn't going to be as broad as I would personally like. And so anyway, so those are kind of some things that I'm thinking about and kind of where I'm going with it and what my thought process is. So I'm not 100% sure. For me, the reason why the upper arm matters is because it actually limits the range of movement. So when you have a short upper arm, whenever the front leg goes out in front of the dog, it limits how far that front leg can actually move out. And so that basically means that a dog with a short upper arm has limited movement. So that's why it matters. And so everything that a good breeder is doing is constantly trying to evaluate the best structure for an animal. And obviously you don't want to have an animal that has limited movement. So anyway, so size-wise, it doesn't really matter to me. These are all actually some pretty big puppies. I weighed a couple of them today, not all of them, but a couple of them today. So this female here, she weighed 7 pounds and something ounces. I weighed the brindle female. She weighed slightly more, 7 pounds and something ounces. This fawn female here as well, 7 pounds. They were all like around like 7 pounds to like 7.5 pounds between all of them. And the biggest dog, obviously, was the one that I've been calling Chuck. His owners let me know that they are going to call him Koa, which is, I think Polynesian for gift from God. And he weighed 8 pounds right now. And so for 4-week-old puppies, that's actually really good weights. So I'm not at all worried about it. Going forward, whenever you're talking about a mask, like for example, if I do choose the female that has the lighter mask, in order to fix that, what I'll have to do is I'm going to have to make sure that I breed her to a dog with a very good mask. So a black male or a like a brindle male with a really nice mask. It's very important that, you know, I just kind of keep that in mind. And actually the male that I'm looking at from overseas actually he is a brindle male and he does have a good mask. So, and he's got really phenomenal structure as well. So thinking ahead, I feel like that's just really going to work out very well. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I've had a lot of people asking, but I did want to go ahead and touch on that. As of now, this entire litter is sold out. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, Cashmere does look to be pregnant. Cashmere, come here. Come here. So, let's see if I can get a good picture of her. Well, not a good picture, but a good video. I did take some, you guys, hey! I did put some an Instagram picture of her up there today. So anyway, so you'll get to see that. But yeah, she's looking pretty round. And so yeah, so I think Preacher did the job. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a little hesitant to say 100% at this point because she got me last time, man. But so far, I'm thinking she is. So just a little heads up on that as well. And that's just kind of where we're at. So hope you guys are having a great day. And I'm going to talk to y'all later. Bye.